It's time for the Salt and Sass Podcast, when we share our love for the wonderful world of board games with you, whether you're a gaming veteran or just starting your tabletop journey. Welcome to episode 81. I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Mandi.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. It is so nice to have you here. Mandi, after last week's wild episode with Mandi and Isaac, it's almost a little too quiet in here.
What?
With just the two of us. Interesting. Well, we're back. We're gonna, Mandi, tell me a little bit about how Kanata Con went, but, we'll talk video games. I think we're gonna skip crowdfunding this week for a couple of reasons, including the fact that, Kickstarter's still on strike. Kickstarter United is still on strikes. FYI on that. And, gonna serve up a really fun game pie from, again, listener suggested. Love this system, folks. Keep it coming. It's working out great.
Absolutely.
But first up, Mandi, I know we got a couple video games we've been playing. I don't know. Did you want to talk about Kanata Con? Nah, you're good.
Yeah, I'll just keep it super, super quick. So Kanata Con was the local convention in my neck of the woods, and Mandi and Isaac were visiting and joined me at this convention. Super small, but we got to play some really great games. I got to show some games that they had not played. Pret-a-Porter was one that they really enjoyed. I think Anno 1800, so if you're familiar with the video game. Yeah. They did a board game based on that, so I played that. And we played a lot of Hot Streak and Magical Athlete. They just did really well at the convention because it just allowed us to play with lots of other people. Anyway, lots of fun games. I got to play with a lot of people. Anybody I didn't get to play with, if you listen to the podcast, definitely pop out on a Tuesday night and we'll definitely get something played together because it was a little wild. And I was able to clean out some of my game collection. I take part in the sale that happens every year, so I did very well this year, as in I was able to clear some shelf space for, more games. So there you go. So yes, that was a successful Kanata Con. And next up on the docket is Ludicon in Montreal. So in Montreal.
When's that?
That is, I think it's November 7th. It's that weekend. All right. And I'll be going with Stephanie and with my friend Isabel. So girls trip.
Fun. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Well, and that ties in, your story about Kanata Con ties in nicely because the game pie of the show is Cull Regret. Yeah. So games that we got rid of that we regret getting rid of. So hopefully, Mandi, none of the games that you got rid of at Kanata Con will be in that list next time. But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. So video game wise, come on.
Well, you have one on your list that we're going to talk about together, but I just have one. So let me throw mine out really fast and then I can jump in on yours. But I'm playing a little bit of this one recently. And at the airing of this podcast, I would have done a stream with a friend because it's couch co-op.
Lovely.
Or solo. Fun. And it's called Space Adventure Cobra, The Awakening. I feel like this is a movie, but anyway, it's a video game that's like one of these ones that has like a few puzzles, but it's a shooter, but it has these really cool like retro cutscenes in it. But it's one of these games where you're doing runs and you're trying to best your time. So I think there was one game you had recommended to me, Hi-Fi Rush or something, and it was kind of like
Hi-Fi
that.
Rush,
like you wanted to try to get
Hi-Fi
the beats,
Rush,
and you wanted to, and it would grade you on how well you did. This game is kind of similar, except for the fact it's more just time-based. So, you've got, your guns that can shoot, and you have different types of like guns and things, and then there's puzzles to try to open certain doors. You need to use like your little laser hook thing to turn this on to this to do the door, and you want to try and do it in a quick kind of run. So I've only played it solo at this point, so that's why I'm giving this description. But if you want to see more of the stream, will be on after this airs. You can check that out on the channel as well. And my favorite part, the cutscenes. So the cutscenes definitely, like if you ever watched He-Man, the cartoon, literally is like that kind of like quality of video.
Like that retro vibe. I love that.
Yeah, like that retro vibe, and the story's kind of cheesy or whatever, but then the game is actually pretty crisp and sharp. So, but I do like that they kind of flash between the two. Now, there are a few things that I have concerns with some of the aiming and stuff like that can be a little tricky, especially if you need, have accessibility challenges like this might be a little tricky to maneuver, but the game itself is quite fun. Hoping to try it more with the co-op to see if it plays the same. So that's Space Adventure Cobra, The Awakening. I've been playing it on Steam, and you will in fact need a controller for this game. I don't think you can mouse and keyboard this one if you're interested.
Very cool. I mean, I watched a lot of He-Man as a kid, so that's pretty exciting to me.
The cutscenes are the best, and I probably should tell you, the publisher is Microids. Sorry, I forgot to throw that out there in case you wanted to know.
Well, the game I think we were both going to talk about is I have been playing a ton of Ball X Pit.
Yeah.
Which is a roguelike. I mean, everything is a roguelike nowadays. I mean, it is everywhere. It's fine. It's having a moment, and I like them. But this is a block breaker roguelike where you're shooting balls and they're bouncing, and the bricks coming down are enemies. And so the balls hitting them do damage, and then you're trying to clear the board. You get to a boss, you do enough damage with your balls, then you win. Meanwhile, there are some other elements as well. So there are different kind of balls that you can unlock, like lightning ones or freeze ones, poison ones, laser beam ones, all sorts of stuff. And then there's a system where they can combine to make different kinds. That's an uncommon thing, and I really like that element. But then on top of all that, so you're playing this game and you go through different levels and you can earn different levels and things like that. When you're done, you can go back to your home base and you can buy buildings and forests and wheat fields. So there's also this weird resource collection and building element. And to construct the buildings, you have to bounce your little guys off of them in your home base. And you can upgrade them and things like that. And these buildings will do things like unlock more heroes or boost your speed, boost your power that you do during combat and things like that. So for such a goofy premise, Mandi, I personally have really been enjoying my time with it. It does have a slightly, I don't know, weirdly addictive quality for me too, where you're just like, yeah, shoot the ball, bounce angles, get the angles. But I'm really, really enjoying it. And for such a goofy premise, there's actually a little more depth to it than I was expecting, and that's only a good thing. What do you think?
Yeah, it took me a minute when I first started playing it. I was like, okay, I don't get it at first. And then I was like, okay, now I see. But I also had a little bit of a glitch where I was being weird, but I figured it out. And I'm like, oh, okay. People are saying it's like their new Balatro. It's not the same game, but their new addiction, I guess is what people were trying to say. And like I actually was very surprised. I'm like, I'm doing pretty well. And I do like some of the things that you can do. So I'm playing, just for those, I don't know how you're playing it. I'm playing it on my Steam Deck, but I'm playing it through Xbox. I do still have Xbox Game Pass. We're not going to get into that conversation. I am aware, everybody, we could maybe talk about that next episode. I still have my subscription, so I'm playing it technically through Xbox, but I'm playing it on the Steam Deck. And I do like the fact, though, if you are playing it on PC or something like that, there have certain things that you can enable, like when you move, it moves the aiming thing. But you can't do that on Steam Deck. It's just a mouse and keyboard sort of thing. I just like those kinds of things that you can adjust. I like the auto shoot, so you can just I don't have to hold the button down because my hand starts to hurt after a while. I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah. So all that to say, I'm into it. I even like when you're harvesting, you have to still do the kind of like pinball-y kind of thing, like aiming to get your workers to, go through the different areas to harvest. I'm like, that's so cool. So I think that's really fun. It is challenging. Like, this game's not easy, I feel. At first I thought it was just going to be silly easy, but no, you got to put some thought into it. And I've been seeing that online as well. People are like, oh my gosh, it's challenging, but I love it. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with it as well.
I love that. And then the only other game I was going to mention, and I can't remember if I've talked about before, is crop rotation.
I think I have this game and I've never played it.
It's a very simple visually thing, not a lot of bells and whistles, and you get a grid and you get seed packets and you plant the seed packets into this grid and you unlock you can unlock more of the grid as you go and you earn income. And then as the seeds get watered and grow, you kind of create a program. So you have your little seed packets lined up. And then after you set that, you click run your day. And then each one triggers as you go, including like you can put a watering can in there. So then the watering can activates and that kind of thing. I really like it. I tried it a while ago. It didn't click for me and I put it aside. For whatever reason, I think a friend had said, no, you'll really like it. Give it a try. Sure enough, I sat down with it. I understood it a little better and completely sucked me in. Crop rotation. Interestingly enough, it almost, if you like Luck Be a Landlord, you might want to take a look at crop rotation. That for some reason they vibe in a similar way for me. But yeah, so I've really been enjoying crop rotation too. Mandi, if you have it, you might want to. It's cool. I like it.
Literally just picked it up. There was a Humble bundle I posted about on my socials, and this was part of it. And I was like, sure, why not? It looked like something I would try. So I haven't tried it yet, but it's on the list.
There you go. Yeah, so many good games out there. So many good games. Alrighty, as mentioned at the top of the show, we're just going to skip crowdfunding this week. That's okay. No big deal, because we've got some games that we've been playing.
All right, I hate to start on this note, but I'm gonna. So
I love starting on this note.
So this was a one and done. I'll be very transparent for me. And I think the reason why I have feelings about this game is because it's based off of a video game that I have like probably
1,000 more.
thousand or more hours in.
Yep.
Because there are several iterations of it, and I play them all. So that is The Sims, the board game. So buckle up if you're a Sims player. Like, I want to know more. I'm gonna just start off by saying it's disappointing.
So, Mandi, was this on Kickstarter or something, or did
I'm glad you asked that question. I don't think it was. It may have been, and actually now I'm curious to know. So maybe as we're doing things, I might take a little quick peek. I don't recall. I did receive this as a review copy from Lucky Duck Games, but I know it was designed by Dexter Stevens and published by Goliath Games. That's what it's listed
Interesting.
as.
Okay,
So
got it. Yeah,
I'm not really 100%
sure.
sure. Yeah, exactly. So a few of us I know received it, and I've seen reviews on it. I have feelings.
All right. I can't
so I'll jump right into it. So it plays 2 to 5 players. It doesn't list a time, but it's not meant to be a lengthy game. So I'd go out on a limb to say probably 30 to 45 minutes maybe for the gameplay. And it retails for about $30. The only place I've seen it on sale for our neck of the woods is Amazon. Not that I'm encouraging people to buy it on Amazon. I'm just saying when I was looking up the price, that's just where I found it. I didn't see it on some of the game stores that I would usually go to. It might be different in the United States. I'm not sure. So again, please, if in our forum, if you know of it elsewhere and someone wants to check it out, throw it in there because I'm not 100% sure. So definitely the Sims board game is, I think they classified as a family strategy game. And it is based off of the video game, but I'm going to say that it is very minimally attached to that. They have it as a playing with life, and this is where you're moving Sims. So for those who are not familiar with the Sims game, you're like a person, think of like almost like the game of life kind of situation, but in a video game, you have needs that need to be met. You have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to go to your job, you have to go to the bathroom, you need to have a shower. And if you don't do these things, your little stats go in the red and you're like, I'm sleepy, or like, I'm hungry, and things don't get done. So there are things you have to be on top of. And in the video game, you can pause and start and fast forward and things to make things progress. Anyway, there are things you have to do to progress as a human being in this world. And I think that's what they were.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Right? I mean, in life in general.
Yes.
And you're trying to do the same in the game. I think that's the attempt here. So in The Sims, you have venues that you're going to kind of visit, and there are different symbols on these venues, and there are cards that you're trying to match to these symbols, and you have objective cards, and you're trying to meet those objective cards by acquiring these types of symbols and things like that. And they call them symbols, SIMBOLS. Yeah, okay. To add to their whole thematic vibe. The game ends when a player completes their aspiration card. So we also receive an aspiration card. This is something you're trying to work toward. And when a certain player gets a certain number of these points, I think it's like 8 points or something like that. That might be based on player count. That'll trigger the final scoring. And then the winner is the person who has the most points. So just because you've triggered it this time doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win straight off the bat. It just depends on how many points you have in total based on your aspiration cards and any other scoring cards that you have. Okay, so in the setup, like I was saying, you have some locations, and these are where you're trying to move to these different locations. And the little pieces you've played The Sims or seen it. They have these little green, I don't even know what the technical name is for these, but they look like little green clear diamond things on top of your head.
Yeah, yep. To be your indicator, called. Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know what they're called in the game. Mandi,
and I played the game forever, and I actually don't know what they're called.
I've never played The Sims.
Really?
Ever. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know what they're called. But the game is so iconic, and that visual of the little green gem above their head is so iconic that I know exactly what you're talking about, even though I've never played the game.
Yes, listen, I've played the game, and I don't even know what they're called. So I'm sure someone will let me know. So those are the pieces that you're using, and you're trying to move into these locations, I was saying, and trying to like acquire the cards, which are just a display of cards, and they have these symbols that you're looking for, and there's symbols in the location as well that you're trying to match the card. The card text is literally just flavor text. There's nothing else on the card. So it's a matter of go to this location, get this card, try to match the aspiration cards you have, and get points. I kid you not. That is like majority of like what you're doing for the game. And so they have things called like action cards and things like that, but the text on them is literally like, go on a fancy date or do this. You're not actually doing that. You can do that in your imagination, but you're actually not doing that in the actual game. Again, it's just flavor text. And then I mentioned already how game end will trigger. So when any player completes their aspiration cards, getting all their symbols, and I think it's a set amount of points that you have to get when that will happen. And then you're going to look at counting all of your points. You also have a board that tracks your needs, like your sleep or whatever. And this is how you can technically like pay for moving to certain spots. And there's an action you can take to kind of like fill them back up. I knew as soon as I saw these boards that this game was going to be extremely simple. The trackers they have literally go from green to red. There's no in between. There are no numbers. Like, it's just there to there. And then the cards, there are literally no actions on them. It's, oh, that's some fun flavor text, and that's the end of it. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, like, if you play The Sims, this will be, you'll really enjoy this. I'm like, no, because I play The Sims, and I know other people that I play this with also play The Sims. And in the reason why people like it, there are things to do. There are things to motivate your character, keep that going. You're not doing that here. Even someone who has not played The Sims, I don't know how much enjoyment you're going to get out of this. And then someone will say, hey, what about children? Have you played a game with children? What happens when children are bored? I don't have kids, but I'm a teacher and I know. Not all kids, but you got to have something that sustains their interest.
Oh, yeah.
You literally do the same things over and over and over and over again. And I think the game is 8+ or something like that. I've played games with kids that are, that are young and playing viticulture, and they're kicking my butt. They're not prodigies. Yep. This is just, you need something to hold their interest. So while I understand that it might be marketed as a family game, fine. But we're talking basic. Like, you do more in Monopoly than you do in this game.
Oy.
And I'm sorry if I'm being hard on it. I know a lot of people have been giving it some grace and, saying, well, it's a family game. I'm going to be very honest with you. I hate being like this. I personally did not find this interesting. And I think the reason I feel so passionately about it is because I do play Sims and I know what they're basing off of.
Yeah, you wanted the game to be good because you love the Sims so much. You want to love the board game. I totally get that.
I did. And I didn't even want to finish it. Honestly, it was my group that's like, no. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't really need to finish it. And I mean, it finished within 2 rounds after I said that. But I was really disappointed because I was really looking forward to having something so cool based on this huge IP that's been around forever. Like, you have so much material to work with. So as much as I don't like to be a negative Nelly about it, I'm really disappointed. People who are Sims players, I don't think you're going to love this. Even people who don't love Sims, it's just really simple. And I just don't know how much enjoyment you're going to get out of the super repetitive actions. So the Sims board game for me was not for me. There may be someone who enjoys that type of gameplay. Hey, and that's power to you. Enjoy it. I just don't think people are it's not going to be interesting enough for most people.
Wow. Well, I mean, I think as always, Mandi, we've had this discussion before. If somebody offers a review copy, we'll say no to a lot of offers if we don't think it's our type of game.
Absolutely.
And does that create a bias in what we cover? Probably, because I don't want to waste my time on a game I don't enjoy. My time is my most precious resource. I love playing games and I love doing the podcast, but I don't want to go into it anticipating a lack of enjoyment, right? So it's one of those things with The Sims. Yeah, that's even though you got it, you're gonna be honest, and it really stinks for you to have to not enjoy the game.
It hurt my soul to even
Seriously.
Have to say bad things. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because normally we like to look at all the elements of the game.
Absolutely.
You can usually find something.
Yeah.
Noted.
Moving on.
All right. Yeah. Woo. All right. Hey. Well, that was a bit of a bloodbath.
Sorry,
so let's talk about a different bloodbath. Moon Colony Bloodbath. Dun, dun, dun. It's a moon colony. A bloodbath on the moon colony. This is a Donald X. Vaccarino game. Of course, Donald X. Vaccarino, famously known for, popularizing, inventing, designing, deck building. I mean, I don't know, Creator Dominion. What else do you need to know? So whenever Donald X. Vaccarino comes out with something new related to deck building, I think people get interested. And that's cool. So here we have Moon Colony Bloodbath, Donald X. Franz Volvingal, who's doing the illustrations, published by Rio Grande Games. And like I mentioned, this is a kind of a deck builder, but with a twist. So Moon Colony Bloodbath, you are thematically building a moon colony and building habitations and competing with your other players. It's competitive to try to build the best moon colony. So you are doing something that is kind of communal deck building. So what happens is that you have a 6-card starter deck, and it will say action, or it may say event, and you just shuffle it up and you flip it over, and if it says action, everybody takes an action. And if it says event, an event comes out and everybody has to process that event. But throughout the gameplay, players will be adding more cards to that communal deck. So pretty quickly, that communal deck that drives the action for the entire everybody playing will get thicker and thicker and more interesting and more diverse and things like that. So when you have an action, everybody has a player board and it's got the actions layered on the player your board. So maybe an action is draw more cards, or maybe the action is gain apples, which are food resource, or that kind of thing. Cool. So you have some action. So when a card comes up, take an action. You can freely pick from the actions on your board. Take one of those. Cool. A little bit of engine building. Why are you taking these actions? You're trying to get cards played out. You're building a tableau. Cards will mostly represent kind of buildings that you've got going on, or spaces in your moon colony, an orchard or a lab or things like that. And they'll have a cost, and then they come with people because you want people. You are populating your moon colony with us. Isn't that delightful? So you get more rooms, more apples to feed your people, more people. It's a moon colony. It's so exciting. Awesome. Cool. But there's that bloodbath part of the name. I wonder if that has anything to do with the game.
Ruh-roh.
So yeah, you're building a moon colony, and then you quickly hit a point where you are just trying to survive, because building a colony on the moon turns out to be very challenging, especially when you have your robot helpers maybe being programmed poorly. Maybe they were programmed by generative AI because they start accidentally killing people all the time. So some of these events that are going to come out are being like, add a robot to the deck. So now you're from the robot deck, you're adding a robot to the deck. You flip over a robot, as you're going through that deck every round, lose 5 people, lose 3 people, and move cargo. Look, it's just, and now it's in the deck. So when you go to the next round, that robot's going to come up again. And that event that added the robot is going to come up again. So then you're going to add even more robots. So all of a sudden you got this deck of, move cargo or whatever, or gain a person. And then you've got a card that's like, oh yeah, whoops, misprogramming, die. And what's interesting is that all of your buildings have people on them. Right. They're just printed on them. You have people tokens, but buildings have people. So you're going to come to a point when you don't have enough people tokens to sacrifice to your robot overlords. You're going to start destroying your buildings. So all of a sudden now your engine is degrading. And yeah, you're basically in a Moon Colony Bloodbath. The game, the event deck is the timer. There's 13 events. At the end of the game, whoever has the most people win. I've played Moon Colony Bloodbath a lot. Okay. I have never made, I've played it at 2, I've played it at 3, and I've played it at 4. And I've played it a lot. And nice. I've never made it through the event deck, because the other end game condition is somebody loses their entire colony, and that triggers the game end as well. That's how our games all end. There you go. Moon Colony Bloodbath, first and foremost, is a game about setting expectations when you are teaching this game. I think going into it, if you are not letting people know, this is a game about, it's technically like a tableau and engine builder. And there's some really fun stuff you can do with that. But ultimately, it's going to get real ugly real fast. And it very swiftly becomes about survival. And I think it's so important to set expectations about that destruction element, because some people don't like that. And that's totally fair. But I do find that they like it even less if they don't know it's coming. And I don't think it's even fair if you know how to play the game, if you don't give people that heads up, because then you really do have an advantage at that point.
Right.
So there you go. So I think first and foremost, set your expectations. And that's what I'm doing here by sharing, this experience with you all, is setting your expectation about Moon Colony Bloodbath. That said, I really like this game. I really like this game because it's interesting. It's fascinating. You're all in it together. It's everything's bad all the time, mostly. The communal deck that drives the action is really interesting. In the beginning of the game, there's 4 actions. Everybody gets 4 actions around, and because they're dictated by the action cards. As that deck gets shuffled, you don't know quite when those action cards are going to come up. Cool, no problem. As the deck gets thicker and thicker, you will not be adding more action cards. So you're all of a sudden at the beginning of the game, you're like, you flip a card, take an action, flip a card, take an action, and you're kind of joking about it. By round 4, you are like, where is that action card? Please be an action card, because all these other cards coming up are like harder to deal with, and you're desperate. You're like, I desperately need to research, or I desperately need to farm. I need that action card. And even though it's a competitive game, you're all kind of sitting around the table going, be an action card. And there's like almost this camaraderie over it, which is kind of fun. There's another interesting element where everybody has they have a personal deck where they have a card that just benefits them. And there are things that you can do during the game that lets you add that to the card. So sometimes the card's going to flip up and it's going to be like, oh, just Mandi gets 2 food. And Mandy's going, ha, ha, ha. And everybody else is flipping you the bird. But that's fun. Like, it's got personality. It's got energy. I think the communal deck building is very interesting. There are some really interesting, compelling things you can do with the engine and how the buildings work together. Even planning for the destruction of buildings and the calculation of the cost of a building and the people that come on it and the benefit it gives you is actually very, very compelling if you start breaking it down card by card and you're like, oh, well, this one costs $7, but it gives me 5 people, but the action's a little weaker. There's a lot going on in this game, and I think that's awesome. So, component quality wise, it's a Rio Grande game. They do not promote or build their brand based on super deluxe, superior quality production. Moon Colony Bloodbath the same way. It's fine. It's nothing special, production quality wise. It's fine. But the gameplay itself, I find it absolutely compelling. Plays 1 to 5, communal deck building, building a moon colony, having your robots turn on you, and then you're entering the Bloodbath era. It's real fun. I really like what it's doing, and that is Moon Colony Bloodbath.
I've never heard of this game until
It's Rio Grande. I mean, they're also not really into marketing in the U.S., so...
Yeah. No, that's fair. The only time I ever hear about it is if I go to, a specific convention and I'll see somebody from them. They'll be like, oh, yeah, Shatan. I'm like, I've not heard of it. So, yeah. Now, it sounds fun. I mean, it sounds like I would definitely try it.
It's interesting.
When you said it had personality, it reminded me of that commercial. Like, Cheese Whiz has personality. But then you can say, Moon Colony Bloodbath has personality. Anyway. I am dating myself with that. That is an old commercial.
I love the Cheese Whiz reference. Holy cow.
Eat that stuff, but just say it.
You know what's weird is all of a sudden I kind of want Cheese Whiz. Like, I haven't had Cheese Whiz since I was a kid.
I think you'll try it and go, yeah.
It tastes the same.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Okay, sorry. Took you off track. It sounds good. So I definitely think I will be adding that to my list, Moon Colony Bloodbath, to give that a whirl.
It's real good.
Is it, price-wise? Is it, do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know. I think it's like $50 US. But it's, what I like about it, man, is it does something, it feels different.
Okay.
It feels different, and it worked.
That's
For
all
me, I'm like, yeah.
I like that. Very cool. All right, well, the last game I'm going to talk, but I realize I probably should have let Suzanne go first, but that's okay. I know. I'm just so selfish. I want to go first. No. So the last game I'm going to talk about is a game from a series that I've actually never played. This was the first one that I ever tried, so I don't know if you've played any, Suzanne, and that is Horrified Dungeons and Dragons. I have not played any of the Horrified series.
I played the original kind of monster version of it.
Okay, and I know when I was talking about it on a stream, people were mentioning to me that they really enjoyed this series, so where they were curious to see how this plays, and this one apparently plays slightly differently than the other ones. So Horrified Dungeons and Dragons is designed by Peter Lee. Artists are Nathan Anderson I, James Buscema, Sam Dawson, and Johanna Ruprecht. And it's published by Ravensburger. It plays 1 to 5 players, and it plays in about 45 to 60 minutes. And that's pretty close in time, I would say. Retails for about $28 or $29 Canadian. So for those who aren't aware, like me, who didn't know, Horrified Dungeons and Dragons is a cooperative board game. In this one, this is where we team up in, and if you've played Dungeons and Dragons, Waterdeep, that's where it's taking place. And you do end up seeing some monsters that are familiar from D&D, like the Beholder, Placer Beast, Mimic, and Red Dragon. Red Dragon being the more challenging and definitely changes some things on the board. The game ends when all chosen players are defeated. We win, the players, or when the monster deck runs out or the terror track maxes out, the players lose, so the monster wins. So in the game, you get the roles of, like, if you're familiar with D&D, you'll have certain roles that you can play. So like rogue, wizard, bard, that sort of thing. And everyone's going to choose one of these characters, and they have abilities based on dice rolls and things like that you'll be able to use in the game. So that's something that's going to be tying into that D&D theme. We're trying to work together, kind of the objective here, to rescue what they have called as NPCs or players in the game that nobody else is playing, non-playable characters. And you're collecting items as well, solving some puzzles they might have in the game, and, well, of course, defeating the monsters. And the board the main board has these items kind of spread out when you're starting the game, and they'll come out during certain times in the game when we're resolving cards and things like that. And you want these items because these are things you can use to attack or hit the monster. So you definitely want more items and specific items to do that as well. Now, depending on the monster you choose will depend on some of the conditions that are required. And as I was saying before, the red dragon has 2 puzzles, for example, to solve before the final battle. That's not something that's going to happen with the displacer beast, for example. So there are different conditions. And then the board has some other options for the red dragon specifically that make it a little bit more challenging, some other tiles and things like that. The board also has places that you can jump to, so it allows you to jump to different parts of the board. Generally, I believe monsters aren't allowed to go in there, and even there are some that NPCs aren't allowed, but some you can bring them along with you. Some actions that you can do, you can move, obviously, because we're trying to get to those NPCs, collect the items so we can take those to attack the monsters, and try to take the NPCs to where they need to go. So they have a location that they might want to go on the board. That's really the game. There's not much else to tell you, but that is the game. And now, out loud, it sounds like, that's so boring or repetitive, but it changes, right? Depending on which NPC comes out, you might have to take them from this side of the board to this side of the board. And then if monsters are entering your space, right, they're going to come after you. So maybe you might not be able to get to that NPC and you got to change action. Hey, can you do that instead? Or can you use your ability to move me? Because, for example, the ability that I had allowed me to move NPCs and characters. So it could push you out of the way from the monsters versus somebody else might allow you to get more items or something like that. So this is where you want to work together to try to use those abilities effectively. So I think is Horrified generally, and this is where I've not played the other ones. I don't know. Are they competitive or are they also cooperative? Like the ones you've played?
No, they're co-op. Yeah.
They're cooperative.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, so this is one that you win or lose as a team. So it's not just one person standing, it's a team thing. I just wasn't sure if the other ones were like that as well. That's the game. And it actually played in a decent amount of time. I think everybody that I played with was familiar with Dungeons and Dragons. So there wasn't a lot of explaining location or, I want to be the wizard. You have a general idea of what a wizard does, and it's not that complicated. And I do like the fact that they allow different types of monsters. So if you're like, I just want to try it out, start with like the easier one. I'm like, I'm a pro. Let me head straight up to that red dragon, and the games will play out differently. So you do have some replayability in that regard, and I think that's really, really nice. The rules were pretty straightforward. I do have to admit, though, the text was really small. So I'm like, it's just looking at that, you might be like, ooh, like that might throw you off a little bit and kind of turn you off a bit. But the rules, for the most part, were very clear. And I think anybody who was maybe newer to that would find it a bit easier to catch on to the rules and understand. I just think it might be intimidating, just the way that the rules were structured. Some of the font on things, they use some of that kind of, and as someone who writes in cursive, okay, I love cursive, but sometimes when you're putting things on tiles, or cards, you really should use super clear text. I know it thematically looks nice, but that's something to be careful with. And I think the tiles was a big one. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was when you placed them out on the board. It would have been easier if they had also put, I remember it was like locations or numbers, but there was something that would help tie it to where you had to put it. That would have been nice to put on the tiles, and it wasn't there. So we had to kind of like look for where things were on the board. If they were numbered, I think that might have helped a little bit. So I won't go on forever about it, but long story short, I enjoyed it as my first Horrified game. I mean, I liked the theme. Rules were pretty straightforward. And even though the actions were pretty simple, I still find that we had a lot of conversation. Okay, well, Mandi, you have this ability that does this. And like we were trying to work together to make things happen. And I think that's the nature of this game. So it was very interactive, which I appreciated. So so there you go. Horrified Dungeons and Dragons. Liked it. And it's one that I would play again. And again, I like the theme and the interactivity in this particular, I guess, version of Horrified.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played Horrified, but I gotta admit, Mandi, I'm not surprised that you enjoyed it. I think system, I think the system's really solid. And I think that everything that you just said, and Dungeons and Dragons, you're like, that's thematically, but I think thematically any of them would appeal to you. And it's interesting to hear you talk about Dungeons and Dragons, because they do add a little twist. It's not the exact same rules. That just like this is a weird comparison, but Monopoly has dozens of sets, but oftentimes they will have a little rules twist. Like the Animal Crossing one had like little tokens that you were collecting and things like that. Every Horrified is a little different. Some have hit more than others, but if you liked this one, I can see you actually really liking the first one that's kind of got the classic monsters as well. For what it's worth. That's the one I played. I really liked it. Thematically, I think it's gonna hit a sweet spot for you too. If you get the chance, you might want to check it out.
I mean, the price point is right. So yes, I definitely will be taking a look.
It's nice and affordable. All right. Very, very huge departure thematically. I wanted to talk about the Great Evening Banquet. The Great Evening Banquet. This is a Sashi and Sashi game, which anybody who's hung around with me knows, number one fangirl of Sashi anywhere, never makes a bad game. At worst, they make a good game. But sometimes they make a great game, and it's awesome. So Great Evening Banquet, designed by Sashi, with art, of course, by Takako Takarai, and published by Sashi and Sashi. It retails for 4,400 yen, which is about $29 US, but you know, it's a Japanese game, so sometimes you get it is a reasonable price. And it plays 1 to 4. So the Great Evening Banquet is all about seating a grand banquet, some fancy pants banquet. You got 4 different types of people attending. You have kind of an older woman and an older man, and a younger woman and a younger man, and they are represented by tokens. And then they are all on a mix of different colored backgrounds: blue, brown, green, yellow, that kind of thing. Pink. I think there's 5 colors of background. So the way that this works is you're going to have table placards or tokens that each seat 4 people. And then you've got some, they're camera people. They're for like their commemorative photos that mark the rows and the columns. Cute, whatever. And what you're going to be doing is, every round, they also have these cute little carriage placards that look like coasters with like a little carriage on it. But when you pull out tiles from the bag, people tiles, and you put them on the placards, and then people draft a placard. And that's how you get people to come to your party. And there's a little draft roll and things like that. And then you have to seat the people at the tables. And they can seat anywhere that they want to, but tables have special conditions that can be score multipliers when you fully seat that table. And then the rows and the columns marked by those commemorative cameras, those have end game bonuses as well. So you might have a situation where you're trying to seat people and, hey, at the end of the game, you want only 3 different colored backgrounds in this row. Or maybe in this column, you get points for all the blue people that you have. Or maybe, cool, so that's endgame scoring. But then the tables might have a condition where, hey, this one wants to make sure you have a couple of older people paired here. Or this one wants a young man and a young woman sitting together. That kind of thing. So all different kinds of conditions. So you're going to draft your carriage. You're going to play out your people. When a table fills up, you're going to check the scoring on it, flip it over, and keep on going. There's a deck of cards that dictates how many of those tokens come out onto the placard. So it's a little variable. You never quite know. But once you go through the deck, the game is over in a certain number of rounds and all your tables are full. And then you do end game scoring. Most points wins. Pretty straightforward, except for that scoring. So what's interesting is there's a little bit of a twist with the tables, because if you meet the condition, you get a score multiplier. And if you don't meet the condition, you still score, but you just get fewer points for the same table. So you're trying to meet that condition, but you're also trying to meet the end game scoring conditions. And maybe those work out for you, or maybe those don't. And depending on what you had to draft on your tile, maybe you're in a position where you're going to have to figure out which one you just can't make happen and kind of view that one as a dump table kind of thing. So there's that all going on. The scoring also for basic tables has things like, if they all match a color, if you have 3 colors, you have 2 colors, there's this whole scoring chart. And thank goodness they included a player aid, because that is one of my criticisms of the game, or something I will note, that the scoring's a little finicky in this one. So you score different points based on the people themselves, young woman, old woman, and how much diversity or how much sets you have it. And then you also score for colors, and there's a whole sliding scale. They do give you a player aid that helps, but the first play, you kind of are working that, going, wait, do I want 3 of the same color? No, I want 3 different colors there. Okay, and that gives me 2 points, or what? A little bit fiddly on the scoring. It's not complicated. It's just a little fiddly. They give you a player aid. Cool. Beyond that, it's a Sashi game. It's great. It's really, really charming. So this one is super duper puzzly. And the last release they had was Come Sail Away. This feels more puzzly. And this one can be
interesting.
played solo, which is really, really fun and really, really cool as well. And I think that puzzle is fascinating. What I really like about it is the basic setup has like 6 tables set up in a grid. The advanced game puts tables in the middle. It's the same tables, you just arrange them slightly different so that the overlap for the column and the row scoring is different, and it's so much harder, which is awesome. It's awesome that the same basic play gets so much harder. And I think almost like Cascadia, the roll and write, the rolling hills, where you have cards that are driving the action, but depending on the sheet, the exact same cards can have, like, the rules get so much more complex depending on what sheet you're playing, even though you're using the exact same components. Almost a little like that here, where it's the exact same components laid out differently, and all of a sudden it breaks your brain. So there's that as well. I really like the Great Evening Banquet. I love that it plays solo. I love that puzzly play. I think once you get past the slightly fiddly scoring, it's fine. Of course, have that usual. I love Takarai's art. I just always love those illustrations. They charm me. This one's real solid. And, maybe I had to look up the price when, for the recording. And when I realized it was only like $30 US,
it's not bad.
I think it's a great price for a lovely, beautiful, puzzly game.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. Great Evening Banquet.
Okay, see, more that I've not heard of to add to my forever growing list of games.
That's what we're here for. Oh, and then, okay, so you don't have another game this round.
No, that's why I was like, I should have let you go first. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, but maybe I should just hold my game and we're gonna talk. Do you want to just go into Game Pie, or should I try to squeeze in one more quick game?
Yeah, just throw it in there. The next one will just fly through because, those regrets are always on my mind.
Noted. All right, one more game, Oddland. Oddland is one of these small box games from All Play. This is designed by Dan Schumacher. Nice. Illustrations by Cam Kendall. Hey, bias alert. I love Cam Kendall's art, and I was so excited when I saw Cam had illustrated this game. Nice. So art by Cam Kendall, published by All Play. This retails for about $24 US. Plays 1 to 5 players. I love that player count just because I love a solo game, and I love, one that goes above 5. Yeah. So Oddland is kind of what is Oddland? So basically, cards are like tiles, and they're in a grid, a 4-panel grid, and they have just different terrain on them. And you are going to be playing to a communal, shared, central tableau. Playing cards, you can overlap squares if you need to, things like that. So there's a little bit of overlap, and you get a very organic final shape, that kind of thing. And, when you put 2 water squares next to each other, then you have one larger water region. If you add more water squares to it, it's a bigger water region. That kind of thing. Very standard tile laying rules. Cool. Then everybody has a set of animals, and everybody has the exact same set, one of each type of animal, and each animal is different. And this is where it is, because what you're going to do is on your turn, you're going to play a card. You have like one card in your hand, and then you draw one, and then you can pick of the 2. You're going to play a card, and then you are going to place an animal on that card. And then at the end of the game, you are going to score all of the animals. And each animal scores differently. And that's really where the game is. The game is really in the unique scoring elements of these different animals. So maybe an animal is going to score based on all of the plain cream-colored territory around it. Or maybe it's going to score for every forest in a diagonal from it, extending throughout the full extent of the board, not just adjacent to it, but like diagonal all the way up and down. Or maybe one's going to score for the most, like how many different types of animals, regardless if it's yours or an opponent's animal, in that row or column for it. So each animal scores differently, and you are trying to optimize this. A few elements that add twists to that is that you have to place the animal on the card that you just placed, and you cannot add an animal to a region that already has an animal, but sometimes you can join regions, kind of like Carcassonne, that kind of thing. I will also point out that these animals are and they amuse me to no end. So you have like the Owloose, which is an owl and a moose, the Owloose, or the Begator, which is, I don't even know what the Begator is. The Pidgeorse is my favorite, which is a pigeon and a horse. Oh my God. Yeah, they're funny. Real weird. It's so charming. I love it. Love it. And the art is just, I mean, picture what you think a Pidgeorse would look like. Okay. And that's what it looks like. It's amazing. If you pictured a pigeon centaur, nailed it. Yeah. So Oddland, great game. great, solid, another winner in this little line of games. And I've liked some better than others for sure. But I think Oddland is a rule keeper. So Oddland, I played it. I liked it. I liked it so much. I'm like, I need the expansion because they have 2 additional animals. Exactly. I liked it so much. I went out and I got the expansion. That's how much I like Oddland. Solid. The way that you have to... The competition for space and the planning as you're kind of surveying about what card you want to play, how does that potentially benefit your opponents? Where do you potentially run into some conflicts of placement in the future? That kind of thing. It's one of those rules light, easy to play games where the scoring adds a lot. And you can play it as lightly or as deeply as you want to, but there is some nice depth in that scoring that makes it, and it's so portable, it's affordable, it has that great player count, it's got that great art. Yeah, Oddland's a real winner in this line to me.
I see you've used your slogan again. It's portable.
Yeah. Thanks. All right.
Okay,
so there you
go.
Sorry. Anyway, that's Oddland. I love it.
Sounds cute.
It's so cute. Alrighty. Well, there you go, Mandi. I snuck in 3 games. Thank you so much for your grace on that front. And we'll have more games next episode. But first, it's time for a pie of regret. Regret pie. Oh my goodness. All right, folks. So I love, once again, thank you so much to everybody who are dropping us ideas for Game Pie. It's amazing. I love it. And here we have Teresa from our Board Game Geek Guild gave us a few great ideas, but we decided to start with games that you got rid of that you regret getting rid of. And so Cull regret. Here we go. And I mean, I thought about it. And as soon as I saw that, Mandi, I messaged you. I'm like, we got to do this one.
Absolutely.
This has happened to me. And apparently it's happened to you too. Let's serve it up.
Yeah. And I want to say, I'm on a fragrance kick, so I'm delighted that as we're doing this pie of regret, I actually, in fact, smell like a very nice dessert cafe latte with a bit of vanilla. So it's going to make me feel better while I do this. Smelling like a treat, but, pie of regret. It's a whole thing. I don't know. So my first slice of, Cull regret pie is Fury of Dracula. And I think I've mentioned this before. I really enjoy that game. It was just one of those games I really had a hard time getting to table because it's a one against many. Of course, I never want to be the one. I always want to be part of the many. But I still like to play it. I mean, I love the theming. Dracula, that's my vibe. And yeah, I had it for a long time. And I was like, oh, you know what? No one's going to play it. And then after I got rid of it, I'm like, you know what? I'm really sad that I got rid of it. I should have kept it just in case. Maybe someone knew that, I'm starting to play games with might enjoy this game. And to this day, whoever got that game, just FYI, they got it for a steal. It was sleeved. It was great. Ooh. Anyway, I know. I'm a little sad about it. So that's Fury of Dracula.
Yeah, and it's been out of print for a little while now, too.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that also was a little extra sting for that one.
Sorry. All right. First up for me is Roll Through the Ages, the Iron Age. Ooh. So I have Roll Through the Ages, the Bronze Age, which was the original one. And Roll Through the Ages is one of the earlier roll and write games that had some depth to it, that brought some Euro sensibilities to the roll and write format. And I didn't think about this, but I think that this is designed by Thomas Lehman, which actually designed another game in my list. I don't know. Maybe it's weird, but
interesting.
I got rid of it because at the time I had Bronze Age too, and I'm like, I'm not gonna play both, and I like Bronze Age a little bit better. But you know what? It's come up a few times, especially when I play the Bronze Age. Then all of a sudden I feel the hankering to play the Iron Age and just have that comparative thing. I don't know what it is. Plus, my roll and write collection has grown so much since then. And now I have this completionist tendency. And I'm like, son of a biscuit. And I mean, it's out of print. And, I could buy it used probably. I should probably just find it and buy it used is what I should do. But anyway, that's Roll Through the Ages, the Iron Age.
I think it really stings when it's out of print. I think that... Yeah. Anyway.
Well, yeah, my number one. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Trust me, because I'm looking for that too. But before we get there, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I know. My second slice of Cull regret pie. Okay, this one's funny because it's Grand Austria Hotel, and you're like, but Mandi, I've heard you talk about this game. Yeah, that's right. I bought it again. I got rid of it because I was like, I got to get rid of games. And you know what? It's only better at 2-player, even though I didn't mind it more than that. I was like, you know what? Too many people are complaining. It's too long. I like it, whatever, got rid of it. Well, as soon as I did that, someone's like, oh yeah, would you like to play that? I'm pretty sure you have that game. Yeah, no, I don't, because I got rid of it, and I would love to play that game. So it came to crowdfunding, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy this. It came with like all these extra expansions. It's my own fault. Now I'm spending like twice as much as when I originally bought it, but I have it back in the collection. So there's regretted it and then repurchased at a much higher price. So that's a Grand Austria Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up for me, Fresco, specifically Fresco the big box. Got it. I wasn't getting it to the table.
Sure.
It is a big old box. I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, truth in advertising, it's called Fresco Big Box. It was a big one. And I'm like, it takes up so much space. I'm just not playing it. And so I sold it. And the number of times I've thought, I haven't played Fresco in a while since I got rid of the game. But what it is, I thought about Fresco more after I got rid of it than I thought before I got rid of it. And it's, such a lovely game that combines so many great mechanisms. I love the wake up in the day mechanism and making that choice. And thematically, it's making paints and painting frescoes. Thematically, it's quite pleasant, all that good stuff. And I no longer have it. And I wish I did, because I've thought about Fresco so much since I got it's one of those weird things. You always want the one you can't have, Mandi. You always want the one you can't have.
Well, I want it and I can't find it. So, anyway. So Fresco's a good choice. I want it. And there's a reason why. I think it was just really wildly expensive at the time.
It may have, yeah.
Yeah.
So these games come in and out of print. It's Queen. So,
This is it. So hopefully it'll come back. The next slice of pie for me, and here's the thing. I don't even think it's one that I was like in love with, but I think I remember having a really good time playing it with people. And that's El Grande.
Yeah.
The big box specifically.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, and sometimes
so
I like to keep
Queen games on this.
Yeah, I'm noticing a theme here, but yes, that's right. But yeah, so this is one that I was like, I remember at the time saying it's not like the most amazing game, but I think I remember having a really good experience playing it. The people I liked people I was playing, they really enjoyed it, and the time on it was good. So you're still getting that kind of like worker placement kind of vibe, but in a shorter amount of time. And it would have been really nice to keep for me when I have a lot of like newer players that are interested in this type of game, but they want something that's a little shorter. And I regret getting rid of it for that reason. So El Grande, specifically the big box, because that's the one that I had, is one that I do regret culling. Now, is it even still available?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the good thing about El Grande is that it's been around for a long time.
It's been around
just
for a
like
long
Fresco,
time.
I think if I really wanted to re-get Fresco now, I could probably find it because there's so many copies out in the world. But
absolutely,
I don't know. I don't know if El Grande's in print. To be honest,
so that one I'd have to look into. But yeah, so El Grande.
Well, a game I know is in print, and I haven't rebought, but I did get rid of, and that's Race for the Galaxy.
Me too.
Which is a Thomas Lehman game. Sorry, Tom. No, what's going on there? I think with Race for the Galaxy, it just wasn't sparking for me. I think when I was playing it in person, I wasn't really able to get the engine going in a way that felt rewarding to me.
Sure, absolutely.
And, I was like, why hang on to it? That kind of thing. And then two things have happened. One, Roll for the Galaxy came out. And I freaking loved Roll for the Galaxy from the get-go. Yeah, and then that made me go, maybe I should look at Race for the Galaxy again. And a digital version of Race for the Galaxy came out. And excellent digital version came out. And so I got the digital version and it sparked for me. And I think going through the tutorial and having the freedom to kind of repetitively play it to understand how things were firing off each other and interacting with each other again and again, as opposed to like sitting down with friends or something like that. All of a sudden I was like, oh, I get it now. Oh no, I don't own it now. Wah, wah, wah. So I regret selling it. I haven't re-gone. I mean, I could rebuy it, but part of it is I love Roll for the Galaxy, still own that, and I love the app version, so I'm kind of like torn on it. But if I had it, I wish I hadn't gotten rid of it. Let's put it that way. So that's Race for the Galaxy. Can't believe I did that.
I did the same thing. I think I have the app, so I think that you're right. The app's really well done, and I actually think I preferred Race over Roll from what I remember.
Yeah, I believe that for you. Yeah, I believe that.
But good choice on that one. My last slice of Cull regret pie is Energy Empire. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know why I called this. I'm thinking maybe it just didn't get to the table, but I have people that really enjoy this game. Maybe I thought my friends had copies, but the other day I was telling somebody about it and I was like, wait, I don't have it. I literally was like, why did I get rid of it? Because I really liked the game. Anyway, so I regret it because now I'm just like, geez Louise. So now if I decide to go and get it, it's going to cost me like way more than what I paid for it originally, but that's my own fault. Maybe I should be a little more careful about games that I'm deciding to call. So Energy Empire is a game that I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know what happened. Got a little too Cull happy.
Well, I mean, I think you do. I'm not like calling you out, but I do think you go through these phases of like, I've got too many games. I have to get rid of some. Maybe sometimes you're like, oh, I haven't played that in a while. Sweep. And then I can totally envision that happening.
That's exactly
it is a good game. I do like that game. All right. The last game for me in our games that we regret getting rid of pie, cool regret. Thank you, Teresa. Was this one's still like Macau.
Been looking for this one.
Yeah. And this is the one I'm like, get in line, lady. I love you, but I will cut. Now, see, and I love you so much. I know you're such a Stefan Feld fan.
Yes.
That I'm kind of like, if I find, I shouldn't let Mandi have it. But I miss Macau so much. It's just a game. And again, I think it's one of those things like, I never disliked it. I just think I think it got caught up in one of those moments for me where I had so many games.
Absolutely.
And I knew I could get rid of it. People wanted it. And there you go. It's, it's out the door. I think it also was, I don't know. I don't know if it'd been out of print as long or something like that. So I figured maybe it would come back. I don't know what I was thinking. I miss Macau. Macau is one of my, is a great Stefan Feld game. It's got a lot going on with the dice and the hand management and all that. And so anyway, I don't own Macau. It's way out of print. Now, before anybody goes, but Stefan Feld has done this whole Queen Games New Cities series and Macau is re-implemented in Amsterdam. It's not the same. Yeah. It's not the same. And I don't know what it is. Maybe I should just bite the bullet and get Amsterdam, Mandi, because I don't think Macau is ever going to come back. But ding dang it, I want Macau. I want that good old Aaliyah traditional style box for Macau. I just want it back. Oh well, maybe I'll get Amsterdam. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of it.
Oh. Yeah, I've never played it. This is why I want it, and it'll round out my collection.
You will like it. You will like it.
So sad.
Yeah, you will like it. It's a little lighter too.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So
that's okay.
But that's nice. No, I think that's nice because you want those rewarding experiences in sometimes you don't have 3 hours to sit down.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Teresa, that was quite the adventure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that great suggestion. You have a couple more in there, and there were a few other suggestions in that particular episode thread. Thank you. I'm just going to put it out there again since, I love asking for things and they just happen. Hey, send us more game pie ideas.
Do it.
Please, because it's working out great. You can always email them to us or email us questions about why we ridiculously got rid of amazing games, things like that. You can criticize us, do what you want.
Absolutely.
saltandsassgames@gmail.com. Or definitely chime in on our Board Game Geek Guild, our Board Game Geek Guild threads. We're Guild 4131, and we'll have an episode thread. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think of. Have you played The Sims? Do you disagree with Mandi? I want to know. Do you think you have more hours into the video game Sims than Mandi?
Probably.
Because some of y'all out there are addicted. I know that.
Yeah.
So you drop all that into our guild thread or chat us up on the socials.
Yeah, you can, possibly you're watching us right now on the YouTube or the Twitch. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. You can find us there at Salt and Sass Games. That's Salt and Sass Games. You can find us on Blue Sky. We get a little more professional there. So we're just Salt and Sass. And you can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram at 613Mandi. That's Mandi with an I. How about you, Suzanne?
And you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm at 425 Suzanne. As always, it is a pleasure and a privilege to be podcasting with you today. Thank you so much for being part of our extended gaming family. It's magical. Hey, while you're in our Geek Guild thread, if you went to Spiel, drop us notes. I've just been writhing in envy watching all the posts come out of Spiel. So just fuel that envy if you're there. If you got to go, please tell us how your experience is. I want to hear all about it. But next episode, who knows? I don't know what we're going to talk about, Mandi. Maybe we'll talk about some games. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Good idea. Let's do that. Next episode, we'll be back talking about more games. But until then, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay hydrated and play a lot of games. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Promotional consideration has been provided by game publishers in the form of review copies of games. If you'd like to support the podcast, please check us out on coffee.com/saltandsassgames. Thank you for your support. We are also part of the Goonhammer Media Network. Check out more of their content on media.goonhammer.com. Salt and Sass is produced with love by Mandi and Suzanne, and we'll be back next episode with more salt, more sass, and more games.